How would you sum up your column, Dan?
The way I would sum it up is that right now there are so many different dynamics that are going into how these conference commissioners of the big conferences are looking at the NCAA, how they're looking at reform and the way to address a lot of these issues like name, image, and likeness and all the lawsuits and Supreme Court cases. And it certainly seems like the next iteration of this is going to be the big conferences driven by the SEC and the Big Ten because they make the most money, kind of having a subdivision all on their own within Division One to be able to, at least in their mind, deal with all of these things without the red tape and without the smaller schools kind of slowing down the gears of NCAA rulemaking. Whether or not that's the ultimate answer to any of their problems is, I have no idea. I think there's just so many differences, even between the big schools on some of these issues. It's not an easy fix, but it certainly seems like whatever they do is going to further squeeze out the little guy.
And it feels like it's inevitable, not if, but when. And then you start to look at this. Could you foresee maybe the Big 12 grabs Arizona State, Utah, and Colorado, tries to piece something together there? Big Ten might reach out to North Carolina and North Carolina State and Syracuse. If they get Notre Dame, the SEC might have Florida State and Clemson and Miami. Feels like we got three kind of superpowers here. And is that college football?
Yeah, I really think the best thing would be if everybody could kind of just like get in a room together and just put all their cards on the table and hash it out so we have something that makes sense, as opposed to what we're going to end up having over the next decade, which is sort of this slow migration of, a school here, a school there into these leagues. And yeah, they're going to start to look crazy. USC, UCLA, the only West Coast schools in the Big Ten. So you're telling me that they're going to send their volleyball team and their tennis team, all across the country several times a year. That's not going to be good for anybody except for the people who are counting the money in those athletic departments. But it just seems to me like, right now you just heard Jim Phillips at ACC Media Days in Charlotte. He kind of is counting on this grant of rights that binds these ACC schools together until 2036. It would cost, probably 9 figures for one of these schools to go challenge that or to try to get out of it to go to the Big Ten. So I think things are probably going to be a little bit slower, but everyone sort of believes that we're heading to this place where, yeah, if it's 2 conferences, if it's 3 conferences, 50 schools, they're going to be the only ones that matter in football. And maybe in other sports too. I think we haven't quite dealt with that reality yet either.